Okay, now you will need this for trig. That's why you got to keep up on those things that I'm giving on the classroom because you are definitely taking trig next year. Okay, you kind of have to. You don't want to go 2 full years without any math. Okay, so that's why it's so important that you, in particular, I don't say names in the video, but I've got to do those assignments because I don't want to see you go in there next year and just be lost. Okay. This is more of a trig prep assignment, advanced algebra trig. You're solving these equations. E to the x power is 18. Now you're wondering, what does E mean? E is like pi. You know how pi is 3.14, okay? E, it's a base of an exponent. Let's just put a first power there. That's the value of E, 2.71. It's like 3.14 for pi. Now, you're not going to write that in there, though, for E. Okay, I don't want you to do that. When you have E, what you want to do is parenthesize the base and the power, and you're going to get rid of the E, and here's the inverse operation. You know, like the opposite of a plus is a minus. If I want to get rid of a times, I divide. If I want to get rid of a divide, I times. If I want to get rid of an E, I do this thing called ln, okay? So ln. So I put ln on both sides of the equation. What that allows is that cancels, and I now have just x. ln stands for natural log. That's what that's called, natural log, okay? All you do in your calculator is type in ln 18, 2.89. So that was pretty easy, pretty much a walk in the park. Okay, example 2. E to the power of x divided by 5 plus 4 equals 7. So parenthesize that. But don't do the log over log, not with E. Don't set x plus 5 equal to log over log. I guess you could, but it's going to be a lot more work. So we need to use ln. Anytime we have E in an equation and we have to solve for that x variable or whatever the variable may be, we're going to have to use ln. But first I got to get rid of this plus 4 operation. So I subtract 4, I get 3. Now you can get rid of the E with your ln, take the ln. And now instead of x, so you have x over 5. And then I figure out what ln of 3 is. So I minus the 4, I got 3. Then I got rid of the E with the ln. That allowed me to write down just plain old x minus 5. ln of 3 is 1.10. Okay, now to get rid of division, you multiply by 5. Okay. Times 5 times 5, if you like writing it like that. When I multiply, I just like to multiply them. I know that's not the best way, but 5.5. Really, these E's are not hard once you get the hang of it. They don't take a long time. 3e to the 2x power equals 12. So I parenthesize the E. We got to get rid of this times 3. So we divide by 3, and that takes that side to 4. I have e to the 2x power. Now to eliminate the e variable, I use the natural log. And now I have 2x equals, not 4, you got to remember to take the natural log of 4. 1.39. Divide by 2. 1.39 divided by 2, 0.70. All these answers are going to be irrational. You just need to round them. Irrational means you're going to get these decimals so there's no pattern. You just have to round them off. Okay, next one. E to the x divided by 2 power equals 5. Okay, you ready for the ln, because you don't have any operations outside the e and the power. So ln, I have x divided by 2. And I find what ln of 5 is, 1.61. Then I times 3.22. Okay, e to the x plus 1 power equals 30. This is another quick one. So I can bring in my ln right away. So x plus 1 equals ln 30. 3.40. Then minus 1. That'd be 2.4. Okay, 5 times e to the 2x power equals 10. First we have to get rid of the 5 before I go to the ln. So e to the power of 2x equals 2. Now I bring in the ln. Remember, don't just write 2. You got to find what the natural log of 2 is. 0.69. Then I divide by 2. 0.35. Okay, 2 more of these e's. E to the power of 3x plus 5 equals 6. Okay, you got to use the natural log, so you're going to minus 5. Minus 5, you get 1. Funny thing happens here, though, when you take the natural log of 1. The natural log of 1 is 0. Okay. When you have anything to a power and it equals 1, then it's going to be 0 here. Told you. Divide by 3 and x equals 0. Because anything to the 0 power, even if the base is e, if I get a product of 1, it had to be to the 0 power. Okay, last one. 2 e to the x divided by 9 power minus 8 equals 6. So we got this e. We actually have to undo 2 operations before we worry about the e. We got to add 8 and then divide by 2. So that'd be 14. Then I divide by 2, I get 7. And I ln both sides. So ln 7, 1.95. Now the opposite of divide is to multiply. We're going to multiply 9 by 1.95. 17.55. Okay, if you want to pause the video and do 1, 2 down on the assignment, numbers 1 and 2, you can. And then the next batch of problems, we got to take a different approach. Okay, now in the next example, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This would be example 9. I've got a lot of examples in this video. You got ln 2 plus ln x equals 1. Now you have natural log. So with natural log, you're going to use e. But you have to do something first. You need to condense the equation so that the ln appears only one time. Now with an addition of 2 natural logs, you write 2 times x. If it's subtraction, it's 2 divided by x, but this is plus, so it's 2x. Now we're going to get rid of the ln. You got to do it a certain way, though. You got to place your e so that it's a base and these become exponents, because now these cancel and I have 2x. Now on my calculator, I got to find e to the first power, so you got to go second ln to get the e up, and then 1. 2.72. And you divide by 2. 1.36. Okay, example 10. ln x plus 1 plus ln x minus 1 equals 4. So again, you're going to want to consolidate your natural logs into 1. So it's x plus 1 times x minus 1, okay? Equals 4. Now we can get rid of the ln by placing the e as a base on both sides. That can cancel, but you need to FOIL that. You take x times x times negative 1, 1 times x, it's 1 times negative 1. It's not as easy as up here when it's just 2x. Okay, you got to FOIL that. X squared, negative 1x, 1x, good, I like when that happens because those go away, negative 1. So I have x to the second power minus 1 equals, what's e to the fourth? I have no idea, so second ln 4, 54.60. Now you have a quadratic equation. It's x to the second, so there's two answers, okay? But fortunately you don't have to factor because you can just add 1 and then apply the square root. So x to the second equals 55.60. Then find the square root of 55.60. Okay, 7.45 or 7.46. Make sure you put a positive negative because when we get rid of a second power, that could be a positive or a negative. Positive or negative. Okay, example 11. 3 ln x minus ln 2 equals 4. So again, you're going to have to make one ln, one natural log, and it's going to be x divided by 2. Now I'm forgetting about something. I'm forgetting about this 3. This 3 is going to come around, and that's going to be a power to the x. Okay, now you bring in your e, and now that frees up this expression. We have x to the third over 2, and e to the power of 4. So second e to the fourth, it's going to be 54.60 again. Now we need to first multiply by 2, okay? It gives me 109.20. Then we need to find the cubed root this time of that. You don't need the plus negative because that's an odd root. It only would be the positive. Negatives would have their own cubed root. Even roots, negatives don't exist without the I, which we don't see come up today. 4.78. This next one's going to be crappy. Okay. ln x plus ln x plus 3 equals 4. You'll see why here in a bit. So ln, now it's plus, so we would take x times x plus 3 equals 4. So I bring in the e, but on this side I need to distribute, so that would be x squared plus 3x. Okay, e to the fourth is again 59, I forgot already, sorry, it's kind of late. 54.60. Now we got a little problem. We can't just do a square root because we also have this b term. Because you know it's a, b, c. You need to move everything to one side. Plus 3x, and that c would just come over as a negative minus. Or sorry, that's a b, my bad. A, b, and then the number without the x is c, but it's got to be over here. Then you need to apply your quadratic formula. Opposite of b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac, b squared minus 4ac over 2a over 2a. Okay, so the opposite of b would be negative 3. b would be 3. 4a would be 1, and c would be negative 54.60. a would be 1. Okay, so we got plus minus, we got negative 3, you got 2 on the bottom, and we need to now figure out the discriminant. 3 to the second power is 9, minus, and then I take 4 times 1 times negative 54.60. It's negative 218.4, and then I take 9, make that plus plus then when you're minusing a negative. 227.4. And then I find the square root of 227.4. Okay, well 15.08, and then I can get my two answers. Yeah, it's really not cool when the x doesn't, when there's a b and it doesn't cancel out. So negative 3 plus 15.08 divided by 2, 6.04. Negative 3 minus 15.08 divided by 2, negative 9.04. Problem wasn't real fun, but we got through it. Okay, next one, I got 4 ln x plus 2 ln 5 equals 6. So again, you only need one ln. You need to condense the logarithm, okay? X times 5, so 5x. If it's x times 5, you need to put 5x. But it's actually x to the 4th and 5 to the 2nd, okay? So it's 5, you can put x to the 4th times 5 to the 2nd, so it'd be 25. Now bring in your e. Now write the 25 first, 25x to the 4th. Then e to the power of 6. 403.43 divide by 25, divide by 25, 16.14. So x to the 4th equals 16.14. Now it's whenever I do an even root, it's the positive negative, okay? So 4 second caret 16.14. So it'd be 2, plus or minus 2. Actually, it's irrational. I just rounded it. Okay, ln x minus ln 3 equals 7. So I have ln x divided by 3. If it's minus, it's a division. Now get rid of the natural log with your e. So I have x divided by 3. Second, E7, big number, 1096.63. Then I times by 3. So if I get crazy answers, I don't worry. 3,289.90. That didn't take long. Next one. Oh, this one's another crappy one. X plus ln x plus 4 equals 6. So condense your natural logs. So you got x times x plus 4 equals 6. So you can just distribute. That's x second plus 4x, which is crappy because I have an a along with a b. So that's going to be a quadratic formula. So 403.43, that's going to be my C. I just need to subtract it, because before I go to quadratic, I'm going to want to subtract that, so I have 0 on this side. And then opposite of B, which is negative 4, plus or minus d square root, b squared minus 4ac, b squared minus 4ac over 2a, and a is 1, which we know that's 2. B is 4, 4a is 1, and c is negative 403.43. 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, 4 to the second, 16. Then we find the product of 4, 1, negative 403.43. It's going to be negative 1613.72 plus. 1,629.72, and I just find the square root of that. $40.37. Now I have my two answers. So just know if you end up with the B, if the B doesn't go away, you're in for a long problem. I don't think I was nice on the assignment. I didn't put any like that. Okay, 18.19. Negative 22.19. I think there is a FOIL, but I think the middle's cancel, if I'm not mistaken. ln x plus 2 minus ln 4 equals 3. So consolidate your ln's. You're going to have x plus 2 divided by 4 because it's minus. Watch the minus. If it's minus, it's divided. Don't have to apply any powers on anything. Equals 3. Now I could take the e out of both sides. Okay, e to the power of 3. .09, okay. .36. 78.36. Okay, next one, you got 2 ln x plus 4 ln 2 equals 5. So ln x times 2. But you got to have x to the second and 2 to the fourth equals 5. Now the e takes out the ln. Write that properly. 2 to the fourth is 16, and then I put x to the second behind it. And then I evaluate e to the fifth power, 148.41. Then I divide by 16. .28. .05, and it's plus or minus, okay, because it's odd. Okay, there you are.